What's up, Card Fighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central, bringing you guys episode 7 of Cardfighters Network. Stay tuned.
Stand up! Vanguard!
So in the Vanguard community, we have some breaking news. Pretty bad for some players, but also pretty good for most of us. Unfortunately, there were two things that got hit by the restriction hammer in Japan. We got Doctoroid Refros and Cosmos Pixie Lisbeth. These two cards are ridiculous because they provide infinite power loops disgustingly for both the Angel Feather decks and also Neo Nectar. A lot of people haven't really heard of Cosmos Pixie Lisbeth. Neither myself. I actually didn't find out until this ban list. So I went ahead and did a little bit of research myself because I'm not a Neo Nectar player, and I realized what that card was capable of. Doctoroid Refros has been known to be a stupid stand trigger for Angel Feather. The fact that it can infinitely loop, it's so broken with No CL as well as Gavriel, where you can just make super high power numbers and loop it if you have the correct amount of cards in your deck, or if you're just lucky enough to continue drawing back Refros. So the biggest deal that's going on right now with those two cards, and the reason why they're being limited, I believe, is because of the new time limit that they're placing in Japan. So like I said, this is all only in Japan. This is not going to be in the US. It might be possible depending on how we see the Angel Feather decks placing, as well as Neo Nectar. I guess they're just trying to stop the infinite power things, because I know that time is a very big thing in the major events for Vanguard. So the 25-minute limit has now been increased to 25 instead of the usual 20-minute matches that Vanguard usually does have, which is good for them, I guess, because they don't really have as many players, like, say, for example, as California, whereas a lot of their tournaments are like 90 to hundreds, where we usually get for California, you know, over 700 or anything like that. Like, that's an absurd number of people. So I feel like 25 minutes is good for them because they do have, you know, the game's going to go a little bit longer now with the 16 card G zone. Doctoroid Refros, I feel like it's highly likely to get hit in the US. I feel that this whole time limit thing that people are concerned about, especially now with the introduction of G Guardians, is going to be huge. So I'm pretty sure Bushiroad is not going to be wanting all these people to, you know, lag and slow play all their infinite loops with Refros as well as Lisbeth. So with the absurd amount of power that Refros does get, I'm pretty sure it's going to get nerfed. Maybe even one as well, just like Japan did. Same goes for Lisbeth, just because of that same infinite power number. It's something that Bushiroad doesn't really want to see, where games go for too long, because now, which is stupid, because why would you not want to make your games longer, but then also introduce G Guardians? And don't get me wrong, I'm super happy about G Guardians because it sounds awesome, and I'm ready for the game to expand a little bit more, but why would you nerf cards that would speed up the game, but also introduce new cards that are going to prolong it? That's what I don't really get. So still for Japan, there are the other nerf cards are Cat Butler as well as Odysseus, still at 2, which is good because those cards are poo-poo. First Vanguard, you still cannot have Conroe, and you still cannot have Barkgull, which is sad, but of course. And also added on the watch list, we still have Regalier, and we still have Tidal Assault as well as Commander Laurel, but with the new introduction, we do have now Nurse of Broken Heart. So Nurse of Broken Heart is now on the watch list, as well as TikTok Worker. For those of you who don't know, Nurse of Broken Heart is just an amazing card for Angel Feather. It generates so much advantage defensively, especially during your opponent's turn, as well as offensively if you're going for some very large power plays, especially with the Refros loop. Hence why this card is on the watch list. Damage checks and as well as rescue is probably going to make Broken Heart very stupid and strong, especially with Gavriel. I feel that with the whole rescue thing, as well as Broken Heart being on the board, if you have 2 or 3 of them even, then your Vanguard is just basically unhittable, so as long as you take 1 damage, or if you G-Guard with the rescue, because then you take the damage, and then you get plus, 2, 4, 6 to your Vanguard if you have 3 Broken Hearts, plus the 5k, plus Gavriel's skill. Blowing my mind. Like, that's just way too much power. It's not healthy for Angel Feathers to be so good. So I'm pretty sure that it's possible that this would get nerfed. I don't know about the US getting it, but Japan, I feel like it's going to be something that happened. Like, same thing with Sword Me. No one really expected it to actually get hit by the ban hammer. Well, it wasn't really banned. It was more of restricted. So it's possible Nurse of Broken Heart could be the same. It's different because it's not really like a sub-clan like Sword Me was. For those of you who don't know what TikTok Worker is part of the engine that runs the Melum combo with Urwatar as well, the stand trigger for them, because they generate so much advantage as well as multiple attacks, because it still pokes your Vanguard for a pretty good number. And what's annoying is that if you don't hit any damage triggers, or if you are at 5 already, it's going to be pretty tough for you, because you're going to be minusing your own hand for guarding against these attacks, and they're going to be just plussing and plussing off of Urwatar. So that's pretty stupid, because that's why Melum is now, what, like $10, when before it first came out it was like $1, because no one knew that this combo was so good. And I feel like TikTok Worker plays a huge role in that, and people don't really see that, because you can still run TikTok Worker as well as Chrono Dran in the deck, since it's so toolboxy now with the new time leap mechanism, or time leap mechanic. I don't think it'll be hit in the US, because it's not as difficult to not stop as well as Angel Feather, if that makes sense. Angel Feather is different, because when you're going on the offensive against them, it plays both. It's offensive and defensive. So they gain powers on their own turn, and they gain huge numbers also during your own, which is stupid. So TikTok Worker is fine, I think, just because if your opponent gets a damage trigger, it kind of hurts their rush a lot. But, you know, not everyone's going to get a damage trigger, which sucks. So, for example, if you're playing Gavriel versus the TikTok Worker Melum combo and Urwatar, you're pretty much pooped, just because the Angel Feathers are going to just get super high defense with all your Broken Hearts and Gavriels. So that's not going to be fair. So I think that TikTok Worker is like very, very low on the watch list. For Regalier, Tidal Assault, and Commander Laurel, I really don't think that it would change much. If anything, the only one that would change might be Sanctuary Guard, just because Sanctuary Guard has been topping quite a bit, and not a lot of people like that, just because it's just very strong, the fact that you can gain so much advantage with Banon as well as the Miron plays, because you can grade 2 game very well in that deck, as well as plus in your hand at the cost of a few counterblasts, and then when you're ready to stride, your first stride is going to be some very big numbers. So that's kind of not fair, especially with the new Blaster engine. So they have a lot of early game, and their mid game as well is very powerful. Tidal Assault, I don't think he's going to be hit. The Tidal Rush is there, but you can run 10k vanillas, so it's stoppable. I don't think that's going to get hit anytime soon. Commander Laurel, on the other hand, is something that it's kind of biased. A lot of players think that it's good. I, for one, think it's an amazing card, because it's so broken, where you can just get free drive checks and multiple hits, because a lot of players these days, they do play PGGs, so they play the unflipping perfect guards. They can only guard their Vanguard, so they get free swings to the rear guards, whatever DP player you're playing. So with Commander Laurel, I feel like it's 50-50. There hasn't been a lot of topping where it's too crazy that, like, oh, Commander Laurel needs to be stopped, Commander Laurel needs to be stopped, where it's just like, oh, Commander Laurel's gonna hit, blah blah blah. Because when you don't get Laurel, the deck is, you know, it's great, but it's not as good, especially with the OTK Die Kaiser and Sinbuster play. But for new X Gallop, I don't think it's something that you would want to do with Laurel, just because, one, you can perfect guard it, unlike, you know, Die Kaiser Leon, for example, or you know, what's it called, Sinbuster, because Sinbuster you can't guard with ones that are higher. So it's kind of different, where you can just perfect guard Gallop, and even if you wanted to restand with Gallop and use Laurel skill, that's a lot of cards you're going to be decking out of, because you're going to drive check 4 times if you use a skill, and then another 4 times if you do it again. So that's just way too much cards out of your own deck. I don't think you would just accelerate your deck out. That's not something you really want to do. So like I said, this is only for Japan at the moment. It's possible that US might get this as well. This is going to be effective as of June 3rd, 2016 in Japan. So we're definitely going to be open to more news about this, and we'll keep you guys updated. For good news, G-BT07 actually is releasing the first special parallel pack. So you're going to get some SP packs for once. So pictured here, we do have the Dimension Police SP pack. So you do get a grade 4 boss. You get the Break Stride, or, you know, the Break Stride for that one. You get the G Guardian for it. You also get the Crit Trigger and a Stride Fodder. So that's pretty insane that it's all SP also. So you get a full SP pack, which is great. I feel like it's kind of better than the SC Arts, since it is like for the clan. But, you know, it sucks if you don't get your clan, but then again, other people are looking for this. So we have a few over here. We got the Gurguit one, which is sick. It's using the art from the start deck, which is great for the Stride Fighter also because it's really cool. We also get the Angel Feather with the super awesome Gabriel art. Oh, it's so nice. And they get their crit trigger also. And same with Blade Master, as well as Gallop, as well as Dark Irregulars and Gear Chronicle. Gear Chronicle, this is actually going to be the Chrono Fang, not Chrono Jet this time. So that's pretty cool. But they do get the Arlim Perfect Guard. We don't get a full art Heart Thump because there's already SP, unfortunately. But that's okay, because now we get a Quintet Wall. And it's one of the G Quintet Walls, so it has a special skill. I forgot what the skill is, but if you know it, leave a comment down below and let me know what it is. So that's pretty much it for today's episode, guys. Let me know what you thought of today. Do you think the restriction list is going to happen in the US? Do you think that it's good that Refros is now nerfed to only one? Same thing with Lisbeth, who half of us never even heard of. And do you think that the possible watch list people are going to get nerfed as well? So like I always say, guys, like our video if you guys haven't already. Comment below if you have any questions or concerns about this episode, and subscribe for more content. Vanguard Central out.